Hi everybody, Giselle Grenier here from artplace.ca. In today's video we're going to be working on this Book of Backgrounds page, and I'm going to be creating a double spread. One's going to be with the focal point here with a nice quote here with a scroll and some buttons. And I've got some pieces out, some scrap paper, buttons, a die cut scroll, a paper clip that I tinted with alcohol ink in a webinar I did a couple months ago. And I've got some Andy Skinner stencils. I've got a deco art. This is a Personally Yours stencil. This is the background part. It's a set of layering stencils. So I've got that. Dictionary paper. And I've got some fluid acrylics, metallics, and interference. So I'm going to be going through everything here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to start stenciling some stuff. And get my scissors out of the way. And I'm going to be using a small little stencil brush. And I'm going to be working, let's do this one with interference gold. Working on my unstick mat, so it's, I can use that as a palette. And the interference gold will add a slight holographic effect to these shapes. It's very minimal. I might as well just do this one here too. I'm going to be stenciling a face on top of this, which is fine. This will just peek out from the back. I'm also going to be stenciling a quatrefoil style pattern on top of this with an opaque paint, so it won't show through. So this will just peek through the back. And borrow some of that. I want to reload paint. There we go. Be very, let's see if I can catch the light. You can just see it. Let me just give my stencil a quick wipe. And I'm just going to lay a baby wipe down, put the stencil on top of that, and put another baby wipe on top. That'll keep it wet. Chaos is in the room, so I can't put it into a Tupperware container. That's an automatic trigger for her to go, what is this? All right. You can't quite see it. All right, so now, let's see. While that's drying, and that stencil was Whirlpool. Let's stencil a face. Now this is Baroque, and I'm going to stencil this face right here, and I'll be stenciling it with carbon black. Get a different stencil brush for that one. Doesn't really matter where, just want to, not quite wide enough. This one's better. Right there. Just trying to find where the sentences actually fit properly. Dry brush, no water, because dictionary paper is very thin. I don't want to saturate it. It'll change the properties of the paper, making it warp and very brittle, or it'll tear easy. You can use any paper for this. I just wanted to use dictionary paper. Okay. And I'll do the same thing with this one. Just give it a quick wipe. Actually, this one I won't have to put into... I might as well just put it there anyways. That baby wipe I won't put on top of it though. That's icky. Let's see, so I'm going to put that to dry. And let's get this here. I'm going to hit this with the heat gun just for a second. There we go. I just can't quite catch the light. You can see a little, there it is. See a little bit there. Okay, where's that quatrefoil? Where is that? Okay, so this is a layering stencil, and it comes with the alphabets, and you basically layer them. I love this because it's small. And this I'm going to do with English Red Oxide, which I'm thinking now is probably going to be a little dark. Yeah, I'm thinking that's going to be a little dark. So let's get a different brush. And I'm just going to do a light a little bit more than that. There we go. You don't have to do everything. Just want to get a light tint on that. Wiping off the excess. There's a button up here, so I'm going to put some color behind that. And because the stencil is smaller than the background, all I got to do is just line up something that I've already done and then work that through. Like that. And this I will put down on a baby wipe. And all these baby wipes, once I can still reuse them. Put that one face down. All right. And now for this one here, I'm going to take a smaller stencil brush. I'm going to tie the pattern into this one here. This one I want nice and crisp. So I'm getting a smaller brush to really get into that tiny spot of that stencil. This stencil is called Made to Measure. It's an Andy Skinner mixed media stencil. And do the pound symbol. These little sentiments don't really need to mean anything. Okay. Put that aside, and I also have a piece of scrapbook paper, and I want to stencil this ruler and I think thinking I want to do the ruler in black. I'll just reuse the same brush. And this is going to be very light. This time I have to replace these brushes. They're falling apart. I have had these brushes for years. Oh my God. And it's not until this year where they started to show their age. Is that enough? Yep. Okay. This stencil is a nice one to clean. Easy. And see how I'm rubbing here? It's had too much time to dry. Rubbing alcohol will get that off. Easy peasy. All right. So I've got that. Okay. So what I'm looking at doing, I'm going to do a bit of a dry fit here. Now, I'm just laying them out. I still have to cut them. So I'm thinking about something like that. And I've got some background paper here I'm going to actually cut because I have a quote that I want to put here, but I was thinking about framing it. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do here with this. And then I've got these little buttons that I want to fit in here. I'm going to paint this scroll. I'm going to put that here. And then I was thinking about putting the face here. But now I'm thinking that background paper isn't going to work. This should have been the translucent paper. What might work? Hang on. I know what I want. I don't feel like hand painting a portrait. I don't feel like hand painting a portrait. I could frame her too. I may stencil her direct to the paper. So that, and then the other one across, which I'll cut. Here we go. That's not bad. And then the quote. The quote is actually what the whole thing's about. It's a beautiful, beautiful quote. If I wanted, I could fussy cut everything, but what's the point? I'm going to lose the paper. So that's what I'm, going for. And then the paper clip. All right, so I'm going to paint this part now. Painting this with, this is a new color. This is rose gold. If the name sounds familiar, I've used the wax metallic with this very frequently. And I'm going to take a little brush and paint this. And this was from my stash. I have no idea where I got this. I think it's a Tim Holtz chipboard. It smells like leather, but I think it's a Tim Holtz thing, and which means that somebody gifted this to me. I wouldn't have bought this myself because we don't have that kind of stuff up here. I think. I don't remember. I don't remember. I'm just doing both sides. Dries very quickly. I didn't gesso this. Because I wanted to get an irregular pattern. Love this color. Very subtle. Okay, I'm just going to dry this for a sec. All right. Again, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. Okay, so let's assemble this part now. So I'm going to get some transparent red iron oxide. I might need a bit more than that. Just get this stuff out of the way. And a tad of burnt umber, just a smidgen. And creating this one's actually fine. Actually, no. I want a torn edge. Pull the paper towards you and it'll show the white of the paper, which makes it easier to stain with a really interesting pattern. There we go. I'm using a dual-sided pouncer. Great thing about using paints for this here is it's permanent. That's one thing I don't like about the water-soluble stuff, is that depending on what you're doing, it's going to come off. And you don't know who's going to be handling the art piece. That is much better. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Tear, 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 tear. And the wind is really windy today. Joe, bless him. He's went out 5:30 this morning for the walk with Mia. This one I'm going to add a little bit of black to it. Let's make it a little bit darker, which gives me a really good time to make the videos. Chaos has just had her venison cat food. Finally, we found another limited ingredient cat food for her, and she absolutely loves it. I didn't think she would. Okay. While I don't have to do this one. This is all right. And this one here now, I'm not sure what I'm doing with this, so I'm going to leave that. I did the background a little bit darker. Do you know what would look cool if I had a whole bunch of strips here? That would look cool. I wonder if I could reuse some of these. No, too small, take me too long. I like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mix up some more strips, and so you don't have to get stuck, you know, watching me tear paper. I'll speed up the, oh no, I won't speed up the video. I'll just play some background music so you can just enjoy the process. so I had to add a bit more to that. Put that in there. Okay, and then I'm also going to take my texture tool, which is a flexible tool. You can use a credit card for this. This is very flexible, so it lets me be a bit more careful than with a credit card. Gets rid of the excess. And this stuff is super sticky, so make sure you wipe your fingers after using it. Alrighty, that's going to take a bit to dry. Put that in the water, That'll cap. And what I can do is I can start preparing this. So I'm thinking, wondering if I should just, I'm having some trouble with this one. I think I may just put the quote straight across. I'm not sure I want to use this paper. It's not speaking to me. So let's pretend that this is the quote. I put it like that. Okay, so as long as when I print it on the computer, as long as I print it like that, I should be okay. So then, there. You know what? There's no reason why I can't actually use this. And I'll collage that down. You know what I think I want to do? I think I want to stain this paper, or well, I'll dry brush it, but. And I'm going to be putting the quote on top of this, so why not have a little bit of a contrast in the white paper. I'll have just enough of the text showing. So it'll be like that, and then we'll just pretend that it'll be something like this. Smaller than that. We'll pretend it'll be something like that. So I'm going to get these placed. I'm going to get all this. And I have some decoupage, the matte medium, inside a little bottle here, so I'll be using that to glue things down. Let me do the buttons first. And I was going to use my new glue gun that Joe bought me, but the battery's dead. But because we're not working with fabric or textiles, this is fine. And the decoupage mat, when I put it into the bottle, I would give it a stir every few minutes for a couple of hours to evaporate some of the water, and it ends up turning into an actual more of a moldable glue. I can position it around. All right, so that I want there, so I'm going to have to trim this down a little bit, following the lines of the text. Like that. And rough up that edge a little bit. Actually, you know what? There we go. That's It's neat. The littlest things keep me happy. Crumpled paper. It's neat. Doing it this way, that way I'm committed. Like that. There we go. That'll dry clear with a matte finish. I like that. I like that. There we go. Just curling up the paper a bit. Make it look really old. There's a wrinkle there. That wrinkle probably is not going to show. There we are. Whoopsie. Okay, so I'm going to clean all this stuff up. Give that a good chance to dry. And I'm going to go now and print off my little quote for this journal spread. Okay, so this is pretty well dry now, and I printed the quote and I changed my mind. I'm going to have it like that. I'm going to put it like that, so which is really, really pretty. Then I'll find something for up here. And I also did some more strips because I want to frame this. So I'll start. So I'm going to use the same paint as here, which is the rose gold, and very, very lightly do that. And I used a typewriter font. You can get a whole bunch of fonts on Font Squirrel and defont.com, and if you're going to use them for commercial purposes, so just make sure that the license allows you to do that. There's a lot of free fonts that you can use for commercial purposes, so that will go right there. Let that dry. And I found this piece here, and I want to use that as well. Yes, I didn't like how hard that edge was, and I'm just going to use the glue this way, and I'll just push the stuff in instead of using the brush. I'll use the brush at the end. And then there's this one. I want it right about here. Me is all growly. It's the wind. The wind is this stuff hitting the house, and she's just all freaked out. And you can just basically go on with this as far as you want to go. And let's see how long that'll end up being. Yep, that's fine. And I like doing these little things here. I don't very often do full journal spreads on the book of backgrounds, or even just, I usually work on just one page at a time, but this is actually quite refreshing. What I don't like is that it ends up right on the same spot. Overlap. I want it overlapped. There we go. I don't like stuff measured, like even this one here. It's completely even. I can add another piece like that. I like breaking it up. And this is something I learned during my fine art studies, composition, to have stuff that's uneven to allow a nice flow. Like even here, there's a line here and this ends here. I could break that up. You know, I could put a little something like that. Doesn't matter. That I'm not going to worry about. Now she's framed, and let's put this in. One day she decided to stop letting fear hold her back and chose to live bravely. From then on, she flew. I love that quote. I can even put that there to stop that, as a filler on the top. But I think I'm going to find something else. I found a perfect little thing, a little star. I'll use a small brush. Where did it go? With the rose gold. And I'll just paint that. That's from the same stash. And hopefully Mia will stay quiet enough for me to finish the video. And because I didn't prep it first, it dried very, very quickly. So I can put it like that. And I paint both sides because sometimes one side looks nicer than the other. There we go. There's something on here, I think. There we go. A little piece of the dusty part of the chipboard. No, it's the paint coming off my fingers. Note to self, make sure you wash your hands before you make art. There we go. Alrighty, so that's it. I'm all done. I enjoyed doing this one. Whoops. Scissors. There we are. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and that I'd love to see a version of what you create. I'm just gonna, while I'm talking, I'll just do the edges again. And yeah, so I'd love to see a version of this that you create, and I'd love to see a picture, and feel free to email it to me or post it in our private Facebook group. Links to both of those are on my website at artplace.ca, and I would love to hear your comments, so please comment below. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss anything. And this is split, so nothing I can do about that, but I can paint that. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss anything, and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what type of videos you want to see. I want to create what you guys want. There we go. Look at that. And then once this is set, it'll be ready for something on the other side. Here we are. One day she decided to stop letting fear hold her back and chose to live bravely. From then on, she flew. Love that. Love that. All right, I'm going to clean up, get ready for my next project, and until I see you next time, stay inspired.